all the pictures in this live stream are from Ham Radio. I guess I need to upgrade that. Good evening, guys. Thank you for joining us over here. We're going to switch over. And there we go right there. Okay, switched over. Welcome to another episode of the RV Basecamp Chat. In fact, you know what? Some guy sent me a logo that he had done up. And he sent it to me in Discord, and he's like, oh, this is AI, of course. I'm like, that looks pretty darn cool, I think. So let me go find that real quick. And I'll show you. I want to know what you guys think about it. But, hey, good evening to everybody. How's everyone doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
Real good.
I think is the video looking okay? I think the video looks okay, doesn't it?
A lot better than the last stream.
The last stream was pretty messed up. I don't know what that was. It was. I still think it was. Well, it was OBS eating up my CPU, which it's not doing now for some reason. I got more people on Zoom now, but I don't know. I still want to blame Restream rather than OBS, but I don't know. We'll see. So one of these days I will switch to Linux and not have this problem anymore. But tonight's discussion is Internet on the Go. So thanks, Kyle. That was a great topic and a great thing to come up with. So topics are welcome. If you guys want us to discuss a certain topic on an upcoming live stream, shoot me a message in Discord, email me, whatever, and be happy to discuss some topics because we want to do like a topic theme to this stream that we do once a month. So let me get this shoot. Let me get this set up real quick here. No, that's not it. Okay. Minimize. Okay, I was trying to find that logo. Somebody sent me a logo. Where did it go? Okay.
Was it it was AI generated? Somebody had put together a logo?
Right. Yeah. He's like, this is I generated this in AI, and I was like, this actually looks pretty good. And he put ham radio operators underneath it, which I don't want to do specifically like a ham radio RV thing. I want to be more like generic RV, and of course we'll talk about radio and communications a lot, but it wasn't. Oh, you know what? It wasn't in Discord. It was in Instagram. He had sent it to me in Instagram. So let me pull up an Instagram page, and because I want to know what you guys think about this.
Jody asks, Kyle, is that my actual hiker? Yes, this is my hiker behind me. This is on the Beartooth Highway in Montana. Not at the top. So Jason and I and Robert and Tank and a whole bunch of us, we went out to Yellowstone. And as we were coming back through, I think the guys, they flew out of, not Bozeman. Where did they fly out of, Jason?
Oh, gosh, where was it? It's wherever Red Ox is.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it right now.
Anyway, the name escapes me. A big town in Montana, which is not really that big.
Yeah, right.
And so we traveled up through Yellowstone, and then we took this scenic byway called the Beartooth Highway, and it gets up to, I don't know, 11,000 feet or so. And up at the top, there's nothing up there. It's a barren, above the tree line place.
Billings.
Billings, yes, thank you.
Billings, Montana. Thank you, Jeff.
And so yeah, we went up to the top and we're like, hey, this is exciting, but let's keep on going. And we actually activated POTA, I believe, on the way up.
Yes.
On the way up to the
up.
top.
Yeah.
And then we got to this spot where there was a whole bunch of mountains, and there was this was near the top. But anyway, we all kind of put our rigs in the background and took some pictures. So yes, that is my That is my rig in the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's a serious pass that gets up to 11,000 feet.
Yeah.
It was a fun drive. I actually recorded the whole thing, and I haven't done anything with the video yet, but I do have a video about it. I want to go back and play the video and kind of narrate it in the background and see what. But maybe I might post that one day. But yes, that was a pretty cool drive for sure.
I love those scenic drives. Anywhere that
Yes.
I can find a scenic drive, I'm a sucker for those.
So my wife has been watching videos about Colorado because we're taking a road trip to Colorado in about 3 or 4 weeks at the end of June. Sadly, over Field Day weekend, which is my fault because I didn't put Field Day on my calendar, so she just scheduled it, and I said, "Oh yeah, that's fine." Then I went back and looked at it. I was like, "Oh crap, it's Field Day," but no, that's all right. So I'll be doing Field Day from Colorado by myself probably. But she was watching a video. She's been watching all kinds of videos about Colorado trips and all the national parks in Colorado. And one guy today was talking about Ouray, and he was showing like the
$1 Million Highway.
Yeah, $1 Million Highway and the scenic views from the mountain, of the bottom of the mountain, the valley, and everything. And I'm like, that's where we want to go. So you've set the base camp up there, right, Kyle?
Yeah, so we're gonna stay just north of Ouray. In Ridgeway State Park is where we're gonna be staying.
Nice. Those San Juan Mountains right there are nice. Beautiful.
Yeah, those San Juan Mountains are awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
some of the best.
Here's the logo that the guy sent me. So this was sent to me by. Let's see. His name is Tony Gonzalez. He sent me this on. Oops, sorry.
Pew pew.
And RV Basecamp. I like the RV there. The old style looking motorhome with the big antenna on top, and then it says ham radio operators at the bottom. I don't want the ham radio operators in. I want to take that part out. But other than that, I thought that was a pretty cool logo. I like the earth tones in it.
That's a cell phone tower.
But leave the antennas. Leave the antennas.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll leave the antennas. Yeah, it looks like a dish on either side. So, if you ask AI, like Chat GPT, or what? Not Chat GPT, but some of the AI websites that draw pictures. If you ask it to draw a ham radio tower, it doesn't know what that is. It keeps drawing cell phone towers and panel antenna towers, and it doesn't know what that is. It says draw a hex beam, and sometimes it'll draw a pentagram. Other times it'll draw like a freaking cell phone tower. So it does not know what a ham radio tower is.
That's great.
So yeah, it's all right. It's all right. But anyway, so internet on the Well, Bill and Mike, you guys are in an RV full time, even though Bill, you don't move around a whole lot.
I used to.
Yeah,
I did a little bit, but nowhere near as Mike. No.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, and when I announced this on my last live stream, everybody's like, "Oh, Starlink, you're going to talk about Starlink. You're going to talk about Starlink." Yeah, we'll talk about Starlink. I have Starlink. I've had Starlink okay. So I want to talk about that also, Kyle, and I'm going to talk to you about this guy as well.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the Ryoko?
No, I've seen it on the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it though.
Ryoko or something like that. So, do you remember how much the internet sucked at Hamvention last month?
Nope.
Did you try to upload any videos, any shorts, anything like that?
No, I was just on my phone, just goofing around. But like just bringing up Instagram or Facebook, it took forever.
Right. So Rob and Frank were trying to do vertical short videos and upload like a 2-minute video, and it was taking like 3 hours. It was ridiculous. And so the night of the storm that we all went to the tornado shelter, they were trying to upload videos, and I was like, you know what? I broke out this thing, which I bought this thing several months ago. It's like $135 a year for unlimited internet, and they claim it'll work anywhere. I think I took this to Big Bend, and it did not work. But I pulled this out and fired this thing up, at Hamvention when everybody else was trying to upload via Verizon or AT&T. And it wasn't fast, but I uploaded 2 videos with this during that time. So Ryoko, R-Y-O-K-O is what this is. This is a backup source that I've used a couple of times in situations where I'm just like, I don't know, my Verizon's not working or whatever. So, and I'm going to tell you my Starlink Yellowstone story here in a bit, but I want to talk about that GL-iNet thing you got there too, Kyle.
Yeah, I think
so.
Starlink is I'm not going to say standard, but it's the easy one that everyone goes to, right?
Right.
It's the one that everyone knows, everyone, watches the launches, or they know about Starlink, and it's been going on for a while.
Right.
And I just got Starlink like 3 weeks ago, and I activated it today, if you can believe that. So I got my Mini a couple of days ago. They were on sale. I don't know if they're still on sale, but I got a Mini for $299. And I activated it today, and the reason why I activated it today was I'm going on a trip in 4 or 5 days, but I wanted my billing cycle to start at the first of the month. And I hear whenever you activate it, that's when your billing cycle starts. So, and I went back through my calendar to take a look at all of my vacations, and I tend to take vacations in the middle or the end of the month. And I think in Starlink world, people tell me in the chat if I'm wrong that and you guys have Starlink too, that let's say you take a vacation and your billing cycle is in the middle of your vacation. And if you got that 50 gig roam, well, if you use, you activate your Starlink and it's active for the first half of your vacation. But let's say you want to stay on vacation for a couple more days after your billing cycle. Well, you have to activate the 50 gigabyte again to get through the rest of your vacation, right?
Well, no, you can add gigabytes to your plan.
Oh, okay.
You can. Yeah, I think it's like a.
Well, I thought it was $1 a gigabyte.
I think it's $1 a gig. Well, that's what you're paying anyway. So it's $50 a month for 50 gigabytes.
Right.
Okay, and you can, and by default, because that's what I have. That's what I have on my Mini. I have the original travel RV version of the Starlink dish, which is the motorized one. You set it up on quad pod on the ground. Yeah, and then it points itself. You just plug it in and it does everything for you. So I have that one, but it's on pause right now, so I don't pay. I now was paying $165 a month for unlimited. When I got that, it was $135 a month. Then they went up to $150, and now they're at $165. And it was fine, but I'm just like, and pretty much the only time I really use that is during hunting season. I'll turn it on in like late October and let it run through like middle of January. And but I got this mini dish. They were running a Black Friday special on the mini dish last November, I guess. And it's like $5.99 normal price. I got it for $3.50, I think it was. And I signed up for the 50 gigs a month for $50 a month for 50 gigabytes a month. And if you go in there and look at your account, it says it by default. Mine was turned off. It said go over the 50 gigabytes. You can turn it off. You can say when you reach 50 gigabytes, it just shuts off. Done.
Yeah.
Or you can turn it on to where it says it'll charge you an extra $1 a gigabyte.
Right.
Past the 50.
Right.
So if you go to like 55 or 60 gigabytes in 1 month and then just shut it off the next month, then you're only going to pay $55 to $60 and not have to pay an extra $50 for an extra month.
Right.
So you can do it.
But Jeff kind of proves my point here, I think, is let's say I'm on vacation the 10th through the 20th of the month, and my billing cycle is on the 15th. And I typically take vacations in the middle of the month.
Yes.
So therefore, if I want service on the 16th of that month, I have to opt in for another month of service.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
So I went back through my calendar and I mean, this is nerding out on vacation days, but I typically take vacation and trips like in the middle or the end of the month. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to save it here and activate it at the first of the month. So I just the the gist of the story is I activated it today, and I will, my billing cycle looks like it's going to be on the 1st of every month, calendar month, which is okay by me. I'm all right.
Sure. Yeah. No, that works. Yeah. So I've got, I think mine's around the 10th of the month, and I didn't get that granular about it as you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine's around the 10th of the month. So I activated it for, was actually activated. I've actually had that activated for the last several months. And I was using it in Hamvention rather. And dude, we were in Galveston last week and our internet went out because the internet down there kind of sucks anyway.
Yep.
And so my wife went to a coffee shop that afternoon, and that evening we got back and was like, it was still not back on. Okay, so I set up the Starlink. I kind of forgot I had it. It was in the truck. So I set up the Starlink, and I looked, and because you can go into the app and you can say, in fact, the link I just shared, I should have told you. I wish I'd known you were getting this, Kyle, because if you use the link, my Starlink there, you will get a free month, and I will get a free month if you use my affiliate link. They don't do affiliate programs necessarily, but if you use my link, you'll get a free month, and I'll get a free month. So, but that's the link I just shared up there. But it's just 1 month. But I set that up because I had used it at Hamvention, and I looked at my billing cycle, and I had only used 6 of the 50 gigabytes when I set it up at Hamvention. I'm like, okay, so I got 44 more gigs to use. So I set it up. I used it at Hamvention as much as I could. And then when I set it up in Galveston last week, I was at 12 of the 50 gigabytes, and I'm like, my gosh, it's not using that much. I mean, it's being pretty efficient with what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I set it up and connected our smart TV to it, and we were watching TV that night until our regular internet came back on. I haven't looked to see what it was using there, but worked fine for that. But yeah, it's everybody thinks. But again, I have a Starlink story about Yellowstone, and I'll tell that here in a minute, but.
Yeah, so I think during my travel months I will do the 50 gigabyte. No, gigabytes. Gigabit is bandwidth. Gigabytes is data. Yeah,
right.
So I'll turn that on, and then the months that I'm not using it, either I'll turn it off or I'll just do the 10 because they just came out with a new plan. It's like $10 a month for 10 gig.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah,
okay.
it's $10 a month for 10 gig, and it's it's $2 every gig after that.
That plan used to be the one I was on when it was 145. The same plan, same name, 145 for unlimited. So
gotcha.
when people say, and I'm a big fan of Starlink. When people say, "Oh, they lowered their prices," well, on that one particular plan, it hasn't in effect lowered. It just looks lower. It's in effect increased because I was killing it with all my computers, cameras, and everything. I was paying $145 a month for that unlimited priority plan, $20 an extra for a public IP address. And now that same plan that was running me just under $200 would run me $400. So Elon said, I'm not giving this away for free anymore. It's business. I get it. But that for some of us, that new pricing looks lower, but it's not lower.
When I signed up, it was, so I signed up for my Galveston house because I was like, I want to put this down in Galveston because the internet down there is terrible. And so I signed up, and it said the area was saturated, so I got on a waiting list. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like 6 months later, I get an email so they had my email address because I created an account, and I got on a waiting list. So 6 months later, I get an email from Starlink saying they were rolling out this RV package, which they now call the remote. I think they call it the roam or remote or whatever it is. But you used to be able to go to starlink.com/RV, and it would bring up these packages. And you could still go to that URL, then it forwards you to like /roam or remote or whatever it is. And the only package available at the time, to my recollection, was the unlimited package, which you could get for $135 a month. Now, I didn't get all fancy with it and get the priority or the public IP. I didn't care about any of that. I just got the base unlimited package for $135 a month, but you could pause it
Back in, was it 16 or 17? That is all true. And that's what made it a wonderful thing. If you were to go back then, if to get a device like this, so if you went to Verizon or Sprint or T-Mobile, every once in a while they'd have an unlimited and you could jump on it every once in a while. But then if you weren't lucky enough to get in that window, they were charging around $100 for 100 gigabytes or something like that. Okay. So an RVer they were really sticking it to RVers. Basically, while people in a home would get the same unlimited service for $60 because you're buying all this a la carte other stuff, ESPN, whatever, your phone service or whatever. People in RVs were getting hit pretty hard with that. And that's what was wonderful about Elon Starlink. He came along and said, it's over with. You get unlimited for $100. That's what he introduced it. And I knew at the time it would blow the competition out of the water.
Yeah.
And it definitely got him in the market. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I knew that I wanted it for Galveston because the internet down there is no good. But I pretty much told myself, I was like, I'm going to buy this for myself when they turn on the roaming feature, and that's what I did. That's when I actually first got it, when they turned on the roaming feature, because used to be you were locked to like a grid square or something.
Yeah.
But not anymore. So Bill, explain the GL-iNet router. That's a piece of hardware. And Kyle, I guess that's what you've got too now. So are you using that through Starlink or through something else? Bill, you told me the name of like an ISP that you were using. I don't remember what you said.
This one is it looks like it's branded ARDC, but it's not. So this is the GL-iNet pulley. And they have the pulley, and I've got a slate, and they've got a whole bunch of different other ones. Mm-hmm. This one you might want to pull this website up. People might want to know about it. It's called Calyx Institute.
How do you spell that?
CALYX. And I thought I had it pulled up here. Yeah, CALYX Institute. And they're on a mission to increase privacy in digital communications, get rid of Snoopy hardware, et cetera, et cetera.
Snoopy hardware. But
I think the story, if somebody want to verify me, they're a nonprofit organization, and they were able to get their hands on a bunch of either Sprint or T-Mobile internet, routes. Mm-hmm. I'm probably saying that all wrong. So because they're a non-for-profit, they can sell these off, rent these off. So again, this is definitely back to the time when AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile were doing, like, really sticking it to non-traditional housed people, mobile people. They came out with this, basically it's $500 a year, unlimited, unthrottled. So works out to be $42 a month, which I think is still a good price because the service.
That's a good price.
The service is through the roof.
How did it work at Hamvention when everyone else was lagging behind?
You guys were, Robert, whoever was with me in the bunker was downloading videos. So Robert was using it. And I took this one and I put ARDC 44 .net address on it. But it's so here's their logo. But it's a Calyx Institute.
Okay.
Maybe if I pull it in front of me, Calyx Institute, and for $500 a month, they'll send you. $500 a year.
A year, yeah.
Yeah, unlimited, unthrottled. They'll send you a SIM card, or you can buy mobile routers through them. Okay. But before Starlink came along, that was the great savior for me anyway.
Now, Kyle, you've got one of those routers, a Geo iNet as well. What SIM card do you have in yours?
Yeah, so I've got my Google Fi SIM card. So this is a Spitz AX, and it looks like a monstrosity here with all these antennas. 2 of these are 802.11, ABG 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. I think it's Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6, maybe?
Probably.
Yeah, Wi-Fi 6. And then the rest of these, this antenna, and this antenna, and I think, this one, are all 5G antennas. So this thing takes 2 SIM cards. You can see the SIM card slots there. It also has that third one at the top where you can put a SD card and share it. So if you want to share data, it runs on 12 volts DC, which is great. So us RVers love the 12 volts. And then it's got a WAN in, and it's got a LAN out, and then it's got this USB where, again, you can use that to share data with anybody that's connected. So these things are pretty cool. They do a lot of things. The first thing that this thing does is, obviously, it's a Wi-Fi 5G, 4G, LTE router. So you stick your internet, your 5G, and its SIM card in there, and you configure it, and it acts like a router, right?
What SIM card? What
anybody
5G,
unlocked.
4G, 5G networks does it support?
All of them. All of them in America.
Verizon. What's that? What's that other one that everybody's always advertising?
So it does all of the resellers.
The three major carriers, obviously.
Right.
Mint Mobile and
it does all
whatever that other. Okay.
Yeah, it does right. GSM and what are the other?
CDMA.
It does all the. Right.
Okay.
So
okay. All right.
And then also the nice thing, the other thing that it does here is you can hook your Starlink up to the LAN port. The WAN port on this thing, and it will figure out that you've got Starlink, and it will dish out IP addresses to all of your devices. So basically, this thing becomes the hub of your internet. Where you connect all of your devices to this, right, with one SSID and one password, and then you connect all of your internets into this thing, and then in the interface, you can prioritize which one to use. So you can say Ethernet first, Starlink second, data SIM card third. And then also it has WireGuard built in. It has Tailscale built in, and it also does the same thing with over Wi-Fi. If you've got campground Wi-Fi, you know how people have they've got those captive portals.
Captive portal, yep.
Right? So you got to click on the OK button. So here you just connect it to one of these, or you do that once. This thing connects to the portal. And then instead of like getting all your devices and going through the process of getting them on the hotel Wi-Fi or the campground Wi-Fi, you just do it once, and the Wi-Fi comes through this guy, and then all of your devices connect into here.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So
tell me again what that's called.
Captive portal. That's like a splash screen.
No. What is the device called? The device you're holding in your hand.
Oh, this is called a Spitz AX. SPITZ AX.
And here's another one I use when I'm traveling all the time, and it does virtually the same thing. It just probably doesn't have the connectivity that Kyle's does with all the antennas. But the great thing I find about this is I never have to expose my devices to the hotel internet. All of them, I get it has the captive portal. So when I log on to this thing's IP address, it has that screen Kyle was talking about. So, but the Geo iNet routers, and this is one of the travel routers, are a great benefit to anybody that's traveling, whether it be RV or not.
Is that the X1000, the X3000, or the XE3000, Kyle?
It's the It's the X3000.
X3000. Okay.
Yeah.
So here I found it on Amazon. Here's a link to it. It's $358 on Amazon. You might be able to get it cheaper elsewhere.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, that's okay. Well, okay. So I did an interview with Jay Christina, who, if you guys don't want, I should have had the foresight to invite him to this chat. He at J.Christina is the name of his YouTube channel. He does a YouTube channel basically about Starlink. He was an early adopter. He gets in on the early stuff on Starlink. He can explain to you how the satellites work and the different generations of satellites and this and this and this. And I was on his channel, and I interviewed him on my channel, and then he brought me on his channel. And he was talking about, he built a device out of a Raspberry Pi that would allow you to connect a Starlink to a 4G, to like a MiFi type modem. And whatever program was running on the Raspberry Pi, it would almost load balance the internet between the two. It would check, oh, the ping rate's better over here, so it would use this one. Oh, and then it'd switch.
This one will
switch.
This
That'll
one
do
will
that.
do that, and I bet you the one Kyle has will do that too.
And when Kyle said that you could put 3 SIM cards plus Starlink, 2 SIM cards, plus Starlink into it. How does the Starlink attach? Via Ethernet?
Well, you could do it Ethernet, or you could do over Wi-Fi. Yep. So think of the Starlink as just, Wi-Fi, campground Wi-Fi, right? So it would take that campground Wi-Fi, which is Starlink, into the router, and then it will use that as the internet, and then you just connect all your devices to this. And that.
But if I have so I have a modem in my truck right now with a 4G. It's a 4G modem with a Verizon SIM card, and I have my Starlink Mini, and I bought a mount, a specialized mount for the Starlink Mini to go on my roof rack that has an output of an Ethernet cable and a 12 volt, because it'll run on USB-C. So it has, this mount that I bought has a USB-C 12 volt output plus an Ethernet output, and it's made to mount on the roof rack of like an RV or a truck or something.
You could probably take your SIM card out of your present modem and put it in the one Kyle is talking about. That's
what and then I could plug the Starlink in via Ethernet.
Right.
Yes, and you could have fallback or load balancing.
Yeah, the interface is very intuitive on these things. Okay. So it basically says, it's got a slider, and it says which one do you want to use first? Which one do you want to use second? Which one do you want to use third? And you just literally slide your internet options, to the top based on priority.
And does it only switch to the next one in the list if the first one is dead, or what if the first one's just really slow?
Well, I mean, here's where the network engineers in the chat here will say a router that sputters is the worst to troubleshoot, because you're getting some packets and you're getting, and some of them you're not getting it at all. So you're just like, what the hell's the matter with this damn router, right?
Yeah, right.
So I would think that that is a very complex routing situation and an algorithm that needs to happen there to say, oh, I'm not getting all the packets through campground Wi-Fi. Okay, now switch to Starlink. There's going to have to be some human intervention to say, all right, this thing is junk. I'm switching manually to Starlink, or I'm switching manually to the 5G network.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Well, that is a pretty cool. I mean, it sounds like, because that thing that Jay Christina was talking about, he was talking about like building something out of a Raspberry Pi and programming it all yourself. It looks like this is just plug and play.
I think GLI Net's they picked up that ball and ran with it. They fixed it.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah, I was very impressed whenever I logged into it for the first time on how intuitive it was. Like I literally, I logged into it, I changed my admin password, and there's only you can go into the advanced settings, but I just wanted to put my SIM card in it, and I wanted to connect it up to my house Wi-Fi and act like, that was my campground Wi-Fi. And within 10 minutes, I was up and running. I'm like, oh, I understand how this thing works now.
Right.
It's something I thought I found important, because I like to travel with different toys. So this is my Sherry Pie.
Mm-hmm.
And not every mobile router will let you open up ports, and not every provider will let you open up ports. And these GLI nets, the only thing that's small about them is their size. They work like larger, more sophisticated routers. And I'm not an engineer of any sort, but I know the difference between this is for dummies and this is for someone who might know a little bit or have a bigger need. And I'm able to open up ports for different things that I have. And that can be important to you when you're traveling, especially if you're talking about a lot of RVers have cameras, et cetera, et cetera. As a ham, I have the ASL3 radio. So it's something to consider.
Doug is asking you in the chat, Bill, where did you get that gray device you were just holding up?
This one I probably got from Amazon. This is the GLI net. I think it's called the Slate. It's one of the slates. They you can find it on Amazon, GLI net and then Slate. I'd go to the GLI net website. They've got several mobile routers. You got 2 LAN, 1 WAN, USB-C powering, and a USB A. I chose this one, but there are others that, like the one, Kyle, yours is GLI net, right, too?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there's several. So I'd go to the GLI net, look at their price, and then go look it up on Amazon. It could be cheaper.
Good. Well, that's pretty cool. So my current setup in the truck, and I have I just linked that GLI net in the chat. It's an Amazon link, so go check prices like Bill said. So I have a Motorola VLM 750. And this it looks like an old Motorola Spectra radio is what it looks like. But it takes it actually takes 2 SIM cards. And then it's got SMA ports on the back. It's got 2 SMA ports for I think it's got two SMA. Well, yes, but I was going to say it's got 2 SMA ports for, I think, the cell networks, and 1 SMA port for Wi-Fi, and it's got an SMA port for GPS too. So I got that at a ham fest like 2 or 3 years ago. Some guy was selling them for like $50. And you take your SIM card and you put it in. And the thing I liked about it is it had the SMA ports, so you could put an external antenna on your vehicle. That's why I liked it. Now, that thing you've got in your hand, Kyle, that'll do the same. Are those SMA ports on the back of those antennas?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're all SMA.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they might be reverse SMA.
Well, whichever.
Yeah.
No, I whatever you call that, that's the same kind of SMA port that I have on my router. So I took that, and I could not for the life of me get the Wi-Fi the Wi-Fi router to work on this VML. So I found a Ubiquiti Wi-Fi router that would run on 12 volts, and I just connected it via Ethernet to the back of my Motorola, and that's what I run for Wi-Fi in my truck. But it's 2 devices. Both of them run on 12 volts. But I like it because it has that external antenna. That's the thing about it that I really liked. And if that thing will take my Verizon SIM card and have an external antenna, and I can interface Starlink into it, that's cool. I think that's exactly what I'm gonna look at doing, something like that.
Yeah.
For my setup.
Yeah. I want to address Don's comment here, and then I want to ask Mike what he uses, because he's probably the one that uses internet on the road more than any of us. I am shocked by the cost of SIM cards too. I am blown away on how expensive data is. I got Starlink out of frustration because I did not. I mean, I have my Google Fi somewhat working in this. I know that it works, but I have yet have them sent me the correct SIM. there's something wrong with their system where they keep sending me SIMs with numbers on it, and I need a data only SIM. But I know from the forums, my Google Fi SIM card will work, and it will share the same data. While I was going through this process, I was looking at other discount data only companies, and it was appalling. On 10 gigabytes 10 gigabytes was like $17 or $15, and then you get up to 50 and it's $65 or $70, and then you get to like unlimited and it's $185, and you're just like, I just, it's 2025. I would think that you could get unlimited gig for $50, but I guess I'm living in la la land.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill, you're on mute.
185 per what? Per month?
Per month, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly why Starlink was a big hit, and that's why I do Calyx as well.
Well, and hopefully, whenever I mean, as much as I hate Bezos too, hopefully his competing satellite stuff is going to compete with Elon's, and they're going to compete with each other on price, and hopefully they will come down in price, but we will see if that is actually the case.
So I know that, so Mike, you haven't talked much tonight. What are you using primarily these days? And what have you tried that didn't work, and why have you chosen what you got now? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, we've done basically two things as we've been traveling these last 5.5 years. The first 4 before we got Starlink, I think, are the most interesting, because all we did is utilize the Verizon service we had on our phones. And then we had a simple hotspot that would be on some other service. And we got the hotspot through our membership with the Family Motor Coach Association. So that's about $80-$100 a year or something like that for the membership. And then our hotspot was usually about $30 a month, and it's changed services. It's been AT&T, it's been T-Mobile, and I think one other. So those first 4 years, as we're traveling around, and we're going to some pretty remote places. I mean, you guys know how remote the Yellowstone area is.
Yeah.
I mean, the nearest ham radio repeater from where I was at was 90 miles away. It's pretty remote. Walmart's 150 miles away. Glacier is remote. Parts of Maine are remote, and we got cell service in all those areas, either with our regular Verizon service and just another hotspot on a different service. And with those two, we could generally work it out. And Jason, can I do a share screen here? I'm a noob here.
Yeah, let me turn it on.
Is that possible?
Yeah, you got it now. Go ahead.
Okay.
So, Mike, you do not have Starlink. You are just only...
No, I do have Starlink now.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so are you seeing my screen right now?
No.
Alrighty then.
You'll click on share, and it should pop up a window and ask you which window or which monitor do you want to share.
Well, anywho, there's an app called cellmapper.net. That's what I was hoping to show you here, but
I think I've been on that website. Do they have an accommodating website?
Cellmapper.net. And basically what it does is it shows you, in green and red squares where your signal is good, where it's weak, and where it doesn't exist at all. So just by being able to look at a place where we were going to camp, I would check out cellmapper.net, and I could switch it through the different services. So like right now we're Verizon and AT&T. So if I were doing it now, I would say I would search for both of those and see where we have coverage compared to the optional camp spots that we have to stay at. And we would pick our camp spots based on where we would have coverage.
Yeah.
So just a plan that simple carried us for 4 years. covering a good amount of the country and some pretty remote areas. And it's pretty simple. So if a lot of these options we've been discussing seem like they're over your head at all, or just too complex, and you're wanting something simple, it can be that simple.
What?
Okay.
How much data would you typically use as a family? Do you remember?
I do not recall specifically. It was never an issue. We didn't have to worry about our our usage because we never got any extra charges or anything. And at the same time, my wife's job through a lot of that time, she was video chatting with children in China and teaching them English.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty demanding. It's pretty demanding on your internet service to be able to do that. And we knew as long as we had 2 megabytes of download, well, like if we went to fast.com and did a test like that, we could get that to work. And she was able to work, 99% of the time, didn't really have issues. So there are some super simple options out there. And then just in the last year, we've switched to Starlink.
Yeah.
How does
2024.
How does that compare to what you had?
It's a game changer. I mean, it's just 100% everywhere we've gone. One of the other images I wanted to share with you, I don't know if I, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I got it here.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Did that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
previous
Yeah, we see
image of that's cell mapper there. How about this one? Can you see that? That's my obstruction map on Starlink. Can you guys see that?
No, not yet.
No, it still has cell mapper up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I have no idea what I'm doing here.
We're on this thing called the internet.
Yeah.
It's
right.
it's a collection of tubes.
It's a collection of tubes, right?
Right,
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But Starlink has been a game changer. And the image I was going to show you there was from a previous, it was an obstruction image from our previous campsite. So if you're not familiar with Starlink, when you set up, it starts to track satellites across the sky, and there's an obstruction image that you can pull up, and it'll show blue lines everywhere it tracks a satellite. And if that satellite hits an obstruction, then it makes a little red square at that spot. And it eventually just draws a global map around your little dish and where the obstructions are.
Yeah,
On this previous one, maybe I might have figured it out, guys.
It made me do that whenever I
go.
activated my Starlink today. Yeah, that's exactly what I had to do to make sure that I had enough coverage to activate.
Right. So this is, what do you think, guys? That's like a 40% blockage, something like that, because we had a tree right next to our campsite.
Yeah.
And last year this would have been a serious detriment to our service. This was just a couple weeks ago, and we didn't have a blink. My wife is still doing online calls half the time. I'm just working on a website, so it's no big deal to me. My son's streaming Fortnite video games. He's not having any issues with that much blockage. It has really come around here recently, and that's even that much blockage has been no problem at all. Where last year that would have been a real big deal. So it's not only good, but it is rapidly improving at the same time.
And another thing, mine on top of my trailer that I stay in is not properly aligned, and it constantly tells me you're 12 degrees off, but it never skips a beat.
Yeah.
My service is still impeccable. So you're 12 degrees off, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I was concerned about with Starlink is, you get a leaf that's, way up there in the distance, just like, sorry, can't connect to the internet.
That's why I brought my Starlink to Montesano the last 2 years for Huntsville Hamfest, and it's never worked.
Yeah.
Because there's like 30, 35 foot tall trees that cover that mountain, that state park on the mountain. Beautiful park, absolutely beautiful park, but there's no clear line of sight to the sky at all. You can't use a solar panel. You can't use, and that for some reason they never put a damn cell tower on top of the mountain, so there's no cell service up there.
Except in that one side, I think.
That
Vern
one
had
little
it.
that one little spot up there. Yeah, but
Joe Brett has it.
Starlink doesn't work. Although the Mini is supposed to be better at cutting through trees like that. So I'll have the Mini on the truck this August when we go up there. So I'm going to test it and see. But that original self-aligning dish that I've taken the last 2 years has, in fact, I think I took it 2 years in a row, but I skipped. I don't even think I took it last year because I was like, there's no point in taking this. So because it just did not. You can't see the sky. You couldn't pull any satellites in.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I understand it's the difference between geostationary and moving satellites, but
right.
It's like I can get Sirius XM anywhere, but I can't. Some of the places
Yeah.
you want Starlink to work, and you're just like, there's a billion satellites up there,
Yeah.
and I can't hit one of them.
Yeah. So my Starlink story is that when I took it, now this was not the mini dish. This was my original Starlink dish. I took it to Yellowstone when we went there last July. Was that last July of last year? And I would, for data, for checking your email and for watching YouTube, it worked fine, no problem. But I would call my wife at night with Wi-Fi calling, and it was constantly beeping in your ear saying low bandwidth, bad connection, and the call would drop. And then I'd call her back or she'd call me back and we'd talk. We were able to communicate. If you had to call 911, you could have gotten a message through. It would have been totally fine. But, all these people on YouTube saying, "Oh yeah, just Starlink, you never have a problem again." I'm like, that's just simply not true. Not now anyway. Now they're launching new satellites all the time, and I'm not bad-mouthing Starlink at all. I love my Starlink, but I'm like, it was not a solid cell phone conversation the way that everyone says that it is. It just doesn't work that way. At least not in Yellowstone. Hey, you go out to the middle of a city, go out to Memphis or Dallas or Houston or New York City. Sure, I'm sure it'll be fine out there. You don't need it because you got all the cell phones anyway. But out in Yellowstone, man, oh my God! And you wouldn't think it'd matter because it's satellite. But
interesting note.
Yeah.
In oh my gosh, in Huntsville, where it won't work because of all the trees, is the only place I've ever seen a launch. So one night between your camp and Mike's camp,
right?
Someone said, look, and we just saw them streaming out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
It's pretty interesting, but that's kind of like interesting, ironic note. Yeah, but you can't use us.
Right.
You can see us, but you can't use us.
Yeah. Right.
Now, Jason, it's anecdotal, I'll admit, but we were in Yellowstone the June before you were there in July, and we stayed 2 weeks in a campground right there in the same place you were by. What's the lake? That's Yellowstone Lake. I can't remember the name of that campground up there, but we had some friends that were camping in the area, so we got to stay with them for a couple weeks in the employee campground. But no problem with Starlink service. And again, the wife's on the phone most of the time. She's right now she'll be on hold with health insurance companies calling them for work most of the time, and she'll be on hold for 30, 45 minutes, and it worked fine.
Well, see, and when I was being interviewed by Jay Christina, he was like, "Oh, it was probably the app you were using." I'm like, the app I was using was the phone. I was making a phone call via Wi-Fi because I didn't have any cell service.
Was that the Mini? Were you using the Mini at that point?
No, this was before the Mini.
Okay.
This was the original self-aligning dish.
Okay.
So I'd be curious to see what now. Supposedly the Mini doesn't have the power that it doesn't have actuators, but it doesn't have it's not as fast, I think, as the previous models or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
But it's supposed to be better at cutting through trees also. So I don't know. But now, again, I had zero issue with the data plan on the Starlink, okay? Checking your email, watching YouTube, getting on Twitter, Instagram, uploading a video, no problems, none. It was just with talking to my wife on the actual phone at night that I noticed a problem. So, and again, we were able to communicate. It dropped 3 or 4. We would talk for 10 or 15 minutes, and it would drop 2 to 4 times during that time. And then I'd call her back. She'd call me back, whatever. But yeah, so it wasn't. But that was kind of around the same time they were starting to announce this whole cell over Wi-Fi. What do they call it? The cell over internet thing that they're doing with T-Mobile, and I don't have T-Mobile, but supposedly that was just texting at first, and this year they're supposed to release voice and next year data, or maybe next year's voice and this year's data. I don't remember which one it is, but still, I think that's just T-Mobile. Last time I checked, I don't know if that's changed or not. But I have AT&T.
It's coming to the other carriers. It's just they had exclusive on it.
Right. Yeah, I read something about it coming to the other carriers, but I don't know what the timing was on that. So.
Yeah. And then also Starlink is, I bought this mini for $299, and I jumped, but then I read an article a couple of days ago that the version 3 or the version 4 satellites are starting to be launched and whatnot, and Starlink is in the business of making money, so I would probably guess that I'm going to have this mini for a year, and then Starlink is going to come out and say, sorry, you got to upgrade it because now all of those old satellites that had that old dish are now failing, and they're going to fly into the Indian Ocean, and now you got to upgrade your dish to the latest and greatest.
I don't think it'll be a year, because that original dish that I have is 2.5 years old and it still works fine.
Okay.
Yes, but I mean, your Starlink dish is like your cell phone. It's like your smartphone. You can't take a smartphone from 5 years ago and fire it up today and expect it to work as well as a brand new Samsung or iPhone.
That's a good point.
It doesn't work that way. So yes, as time progresses and things upgrade and memory capacities upgrade and CPU usage upgrades and all this kind of good stuff, and OBS starts to eat up more bandwidth and blah blah blah. So
if I can get 2 years out of it, that's great.
I think you'll get 2 to 4 years out of it. Really.
Yeah, I just didn't want them to come out in January of next year and be like, sorority prank, everyone's got an upgrade.
No, I don't think it'll be that quick, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it is a great time. I mean, I just think of like my niece that's 5 years old and what the internet is going to look like, whenever she's a teenager. It's a great time that you can go out to the middle of Yellowstone and literally carry on a conversation and get on the internet and, have this at your disposal. And then also, Mike, with all of the cell phone providers and whatnot, it's just amazing that, you could go out to the most remote part of Colorado or Idaho or Wyoming and probably get some type of signal to get on the internet and entertain yourself for
watch
a couple
a bad
of hours.
movie on Netflix.
Right. Yeah.
The increase in technology has actually allowed you to live more in the backwoods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah.
And still have some type of digital footprint on the internet to say, I was here,
Yeah. Yep. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. And the options are coming down. I mean, this GL, I remember looking at internet options a long time ago, and that Peplink was the only game in town, or it was one of the major games in town. And that thing was like $1,000.
Yeah.
If you wanted dual SIMs and you wanted to put something like this in your motorhome or whatever, you had to spend $1,000 just on this device. And now you can get, this is kind of the higher end. I think the GL iNet sells another version of this that has only one SIM in it, and I think that thing is like $250.
Hey, Cal, I'm on their website right now, and the cheapest one is $549. The next one is $9.99, and the next one is $28.99.
Yeah, that is insane prices.
Wow, yeah,
insane.
It is.
Yep. I'm familiar because I many times pull that trigger, and now that thing does the same thing that these do.
Yeah.
Well, this is good discussion, guys. I appreciate everyone's insight tonight. We're right at an hour, so I think we'll close this down. But we can definitely do this again and maybe get a couple more people on here and give some more insight. So I am looking for topics that you guys want to discuss. Topics that, and Mike, you've probably got a few that you could suggest. But we want to do like a topic-based discussion for an hour once a month. And Kyle came up with this idea for Internet on the Go, which is, we could probably do 4 or 5 episodes on this and still not cover everything. It's a popular subject. That guy at the More Expo had some sort of funky looking 4G router device that he claims worked better than Starlink. I don't even remember the name of it right now.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I mean, there's plenty more on this subject to talk about. I'd like to talk about batteries one of these days, and I'd like to talk about solar and that kind of thing. So, but any suggestions for topics that you guys in the audience want to see, put a comment in this video, shoot me an email. Apps is a good one. Yeah, totally. That's a good one. And we'd like to do some more topic-based discussions on this, and just kind of keep the ball rolling on this video podcast I've started. So I appreciate y'all's time tonight. You three, tell us. I think, Bill, I'm not sure if you do, but Mike and Kyle, you guys both have RV-related YouTube channels. So tell us about those real quick before we close out.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Yo, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I'm on Plan B RV. Plan B RV is our RV travel YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Cool.
Yeah, and mine is called Square Drop Adventures. The logo's right there. There is my rig that I purchased a year and a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm not full-time. I live in my house back here. But I like to take this thing out and mess around with it. So I created a channel to kind of document my trials and tribulations. And I will say that the ham radio community is a lot nicer than the RV community. But there's a lot more trolls on the RV community.
Oh, wow.
So anyway,
that's amazing.
Just more people.
Yeah, you can go ahead and subscribe and just get in line with all the rest of the trolls.
Yeah,
so
right.
there's some hateful comments that I've gotten. And, you know, I only got like 1,300 people on my YouTube channel on Square Drop, and I've got, 8,000 on my ham radio. I get 4 times as many hateful comments on my Square Drop channel than I do on my.
Oh yeah, 100% truth. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They come in and they just like.
Yeah. Hey, make a video about bow things on your RV channel.
Oh no. That's like.
Uh-oh.
That's like throwing yourself into the tiger's den.
It's a year and a half later, and I'm still responding to comments. It's
wow.
just a gold mine. It's great.
Oh my goodness.
It's so funny.
Bill, do you have a second channel? I don't think that you do.
Dude, I can barely articulate ham radio.
Yeah.
But
tell us about your ham radio channel, Dave.
I do have a ham radio channel, sort of eclectic, ham radio tectonics. I'm Bill K0WHW. That's my call sign, and the channel name is Ham Radio Tectonics.
Cool.
Stop by.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone, for your time. Of course, this is Unplugged, my channel here. I do have a new video or two I'll be posting to this channel this week and next week. And then I want to record a video with our tour through Colorado that my wife and I will be doing here in about a month as well. So thanks for joining us tonight. Comments below about topics for next time. And we'll probably meet again the first Sunday of July is what I'm looking at right now. So you guys put that on your calendar. And hope to catch you all then. So good night to everybody. And everyone have a good week this week.
Thanks. 73.
73. 70. I was trying not to say 73, but yeah, 73.
I couldn't hold off.
Regards.
That's all right. Yeah. Regards. Yeah. Best wishes. See you guys.
Later.